wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. I hope he dies. I hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
So let's go through a little quick bit of journalism history, if you could call it journalism. So there's before the internet, and then there was journalism. And the brands that were created, such as CNN, NBC, CBS, and all that, because it was all analog and pre-digital, you just had to assume Walter Cronkite and the robot called Anderson Cooper were real journalists and had integrity and all that. Rush Limbaugh, to a great extent, exposed that. Although if you talk to any journalist back in the 80s, 90s, and the aughts, you found out quickly that they were leftist whores. And I do mean that. You are all shills. Kind of gave rise to Fox News and conservative media, and is also why Air America, a left-wing radio talk station, didn't do well, because pretty much all the mainstream media was left-wing, and you're merely entering a crowded market. Hey, we're going to advocate for free shit and parasitism too. Oh my God. It's so different than what CNN and CBS and all the other Democrat dick suckers were saying. I do mean that they're probably all sucking each other. Oh my God, it's such a wonderful Democrat dick. Then the internet comes along, and it being an unknown quantity or variable, you didn't like, hey, it's not real. People were apprehensive about buying stuff online, buying things using a credit card online. Whoa, is this? But it took a while. And especially, you kind of saw a little bit of peering behind the curtain and dethroning, not a little bit, a lot now that I think of it, with things like PJ Media, blogs, and citizen journalism, where the regular people who have real jobs said, fuck off to the journalists, and we're going to start writing. A Drudge Report would be another thing like that. I don't mean to make it a Republican, Democrat, left-right issue, but the original state of media was left-wing propaganda. And hearing, at least have sex if you're going to hear about it, all right? No, at least that's fun. Man, writing pages about it. Why I'm entitled to other people's money. Version 8,276,523,482. But like anything else, a generation goes by or two, and now it's very, you don't think twice about ordering something on Amazon or dating online, or one website is different than the other. But there was this zone in the aughts, maybe even the early 2010s, where that cachet, where if you put, Huffington Post would be a perfect example, where if you put some kind of veneer or a very good designed website, or it was just CNN online, the old school media still carried a cachet when the technology, fundamentally technologically, it was undermined, it was moot. There was a superior product on the market, citizen journalism in the form of blogs and all that. But people still, with that momentum, it carried pre-internet, like, oh, well, it's CBS.com. Well, then, and there was a group of journalists, I can't even call them journalists, leftist activists, who then use this, like, oh, where this website, where the Huffington Post, or where Jezebel's another example. Look at our fancy website and look at our network of people, and we're so professional and so legitimate. And people still believe that. So if you ever went against the mainstream or something like that, they would write articles about you. This happened to me with not the Road to Perdition. What the hell? Fury Road, Mad Max thing, where a bunch of spurgins and autists and dysfunctional people, and I'm not talking about the actual autistic and people who have Asperger's. I'm talking the healthy, normal ones that use it as a crutch and just act like that. Freaked out when I didn't want to. I'm not gonna go see this movie because it's feminist undertones and advertising. And everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Da, 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 da. I said, "Who are these people?" It's the Daily Mail. You go look Salon. All these, the. And if you looked at it, it's what Penske Media, Condé Nast, a couple other companies owned all these brand names, but because they had fancy websites, because of that holdover from the previous journals, like, "Oh my god, what are they saying?" And he's like, "No, this is the theater kids of middle school, not even high school. Theater kids of middle school." Throwing a temper tantrum because someone dared to tell them to shut the fuck up and shove it up their ass. Fast forward 10, 15 years later to today, and we have kind of a similar thing happening. I don't mean to bore you guys, my audience, with the world of video games and movies and nerdery, but it's germane and relevant. And the whole internet has gone a flutter over this Sweet Baby Incorporated, which ends up being pretty anti-white, anti-male, woke, fucking money grubbing, shakedown Italian mafia, but not Italian diversity consulting company, among many others, that has ruined now its 8th or 9th video game. And this 8th or 9th video game, the latest video game they worked on, they didn't design it, by the way. They were consultants to it. It's titled Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League because Zillennials just can't get a fucking succinct title together. And it ended up being woke trash. It also ended up being a poorly designed video game. There were problems with the relaunch, and it failed. It was not received well by community and audience members and video gaming public. And then the regular thing happened where this is woke trash. We don't like it. It's shit. They were then accused of racist, sexist, oh, you hate minorities and women. But then, what was it? Somebody found out Sweet Baby, worked on it. They dug into the people who work at and own Sweet Baby. Turned out they said some rather untoward things in the racial and sexual department. And that's not even, I don't even think that's necessary. It's that they're a woke activist company that's just doing the DEI grift. I think their CEO, don't quote me on it, I think the CEO says you got to hold them to it, more or less like shakedown. Like, you better hold them to their commitments to honor diversity and inclusion. Look it up. There's other people who've done it. So this causes a big kerfuffle in the video gaming community. And like any other community, you rely on journalists or journalism to say what's going on. However, the main flagship sites in video game journalism, which, God almighty, that's like sports management. Just tell me you don't want to work. Tell me you're a worthless freaking quanta haha who doesn't want to work. I'm going to be a video games journalist. Holy cow, you better be an accountant during the daytime. So already using the Clary test, where it's like, what a bunch of lazy sacks of shit these people are. It's already selection bias. You know these people are lazy. You know they don't want to work. You know they're going to be leftist. You know they're going to have political ideology. But they also don't have the skills and the talents to be video game developers themselves. So what are they going to do? Like the little program bitches they are, it's going to be leftist fucking slop all the time. Because that's when you hire actresses and actors. That's what happens when you get the theater kids. That's what happens when you get journalism majors. It's not necessarily anything wrong with journalism or acting or media or anything like that. It's that lazy people gravitate towards this, and that's why they're leftists. And yes, it is that simple. Please shut up. It's not any more complicated than that. So normally, a functioning journalism or journalistic industry is to be a fourth branch of government to keep things honest, is to expose the corrupt and the inept. But because these people are political ideologues to the left, before they have any desire to actually be real journalists, like in the 1930s, 40s, 50s sense, the mafia might kill you. You're still going to publish the truth. The flagships, what is it? Kotaku is the main one I'm gonna talk about, but this would apply to him. Not Gamer, IntelliGamer, Eurogamer, all these. So instead of investigating this, what ends up happening is the flagship gamer media websites go and run cover and protection for Sweet Baby Inc. and general leftist woke diversity inclusion politics anyway. But the video game going public is having none of it because they're sick and tired of shit products, and they're sick and tired of having thinly veiled accusations of being sexist and racist and other types of ists and phobes and isms and tisms from people that hate them. I think they're also just pissed off with the lack of good video games and good movies and good comic books and all that other stuff. And so there's been a tremendous backlash against Kotaku as one, Eurogamer and others. You could look it up. But Kotaku is kind of like the flagship one. It's the flagship one. And so I started doing a little bit of digging. And what I realized is what has happened is in the past 10 to 15 years, a lot has changed in the dynamic where a bunch of real journalists, citizen journalists, have risen up where there is no journalism, there's no journalistic integrity, and essentially supplanted and replaced all these websites. So you look at things like Kotaku, Eurogamer, other different websites that would have ostensibly been the main thought pieces for the video game industry. And individuals, mind you, I love to point that out to all you corporate leftist cocksuckers who are running on not so low interest rate capital and venture capital financing. Individuals have become bigger than your entire company because they simply speak the truth. And here you have the notable real men and women of video game journalism, such as Nerdrotic and his regular panel that he has, Endymion, The Critical Drinker, It's a Gundam, Yellow Flash, many others are the main ones that come to mind now. Oh, how could World Class Bullshitters? They've been there a long time. World Class Bullshitters are old school, original gangsters, as the parlance as the kid. They're the OG, as the kids say nowadays. They've been doing the real journalism. They've been doing the real journalistic integrity. And what I love now is you have seen kind of a complete, not circle, but a complete debunking and destruction and an accurate assessment and knowledge of what these previously so prestigious, good or bad, but established, oh, well, these are pillars of the journalism community. You could see it now 10 to 15 years later after that initial momentum of legacy media petered out. The individual journalists are the ones with all the power. They're the ones with the audience, and they are way bigger, way more successful, and they're profitable. I got to imagine running these YouTube channels is there's not a lie. I run a YouTube channel. There's no overhead, really. You pay Google, it's 30% cut, and there you go. These guys make way more money than all these companies with venture capital companies and employees, which are all unionized. I find out after a little bit of research, I'm like, it's not how you run a railroad. And it was great because I do not like social media. It's part of my job. I have to do it. But I went on, I think it was Kotaku or Eurogamer, one of the two, and they were the real video game community came out. Kotaku or Eurogamer, both. It doesn't matter. What's happening is now these video game journalist websites who hate gamers, by the way, and they're not gamers themselves. They're coming out trying to run cover, trying to shame everybody, and the community has had it. All it takes is one of these real journalists to retweet it, and now their comment section is just FOAD, you're whores, shut up, no one's It's great. They got sick and tired of the vegetarian theater kids in school and their sanctimonious holier than thou bullshit, and they're just done with it. And so I wanted to take a look. Like, okay, are these companies even profitable now? And so I just focused on Kotaku. What I really know, what was fascinating to me is Kotaku. Was it Gawker? They're the same, by the way, I find out. You see these previously established websites that had hundreds of thousands, even millions of followers, and then you watch their tweets and no one there's no interaction. I get more. And I'm not. This isn't a dick comparing competition. I'm using me as like I got nothing. I'm not like a media giant. I'm just an idiot on the internet. I think I got 28,000 followers, maybe 14,000. I don't know. But when I tweet something, I'll get 2 to 5 retweets, depending on how funny it is, how big the girl's tits are. 1 to 8 comments. The regulars are there, and a lot of likes. We get a lot of likes. I'm looking at Kotaku and Eurogamer, and they got 500,000. I think Kotaku's got multiple millions, or at least more than 1 million, and they get less interaction than I do. I'm like, well, you probably bought and paid for those subscribers. I know people who do that, and you still don't have. So that's especially in the day of online media, that indicates to me you're dead in the water. You done fucked up. And then I want to look back on who owns what, and these are all privately handed. But what I found out is Kotaku, these brands, you can't even barely call them website, but these brands have been handed around and passed around like Pokemon trading cards. See, yeah, I got my geek credentials, or Yu-Gi-Oh. They've been passed on between originally media companies that had billions and were somewhat serious, and now they're going to, I don't know, these third-tier shit-level private equity firms that come in and buy them on cents on the dollar. But Kotaku was owned, it seems to me, based on my research, by 2 companies, Go Media, which was Gizmodo, and some of you probably know their history better than I do, and Gawker Media. Well, Gawker is they shut down Jezebel. They shut down a bunch of other websites. I think Gawker itself is shut down. And I had a look at Go Media. And let me just read this. You tell me like if this sounds like any. And it was I think it was you go broke, then you go woke, and then you croak. Who was it? Hang on. Let me. It was a great observation. You go broke, woke, croak. Rageaholic. Is that Razor Fist? That's it. Razor Fist. Sorry, I wanted to give credit where credit was due. Razor Fist made the observation. Let's take Playboy, for example. Online internet prawn comes along. Who's going to buy Playboy anymore? This company already went bankrupt. It's out, or they didn't go bankrupt. I don't know. It ain't making no money no more. Sports Illustrated, same parallel. Here's a brand that has been obsoleted by the internet. Its profit is either non-existent or very minimal. Some private equity turnaround firm buys it for pennies on the dollars for the brand name alone and tries to make money. It can't make money, so what does it do? It goes zany and crazy, and it goes woke because going woke is, what does it say? Religion is the last place of refuge for a criminal. Going woke is the last gasping shot of marketing to do shock marketing of a truly stupid marketing person. The idiot 34-year-old child with an overeducation in marketing who did the Bud Light thing with the guy who dresses like a girl. Playboy. Ooh, we're going to put a black male up on. He's the Playboy playmate of whatever June. Sports Illustrated throwing fat, ugly people up. Victoria's Secret. Already broke. Decided to go woke where there's a woman missing her arm. No offense to that woman. I feel sorry for her. It's horrible. Other women with skin conditions. That is not, it's gross. It's revolting. Person is a wonderful person. No doubt. It's a bit horrible. But, and then of course, fat chicks. They have Megan Rapinoe, like shock jock. Shock jock strategy works on radio. It doesn't work on everyday people who just want to buy fucking lingerie, or in the case of Gillette shaving cream. It is a last, and more modernly, just to show you that Razor Fist is right, look at North Face, the news. They say, well, if you take a course, like fucking want to kick their CEO in the nuts. I looked up him, and that's a different time. I talk about that individually, where in order to get sales, North Face is going down. It's owned by VF Apparel or VD Apparel, maybe venereal disease apparel. But anyway, so this company's just stock price went up and then it cratered and tanked. North Face ain't making the money. They're already broke. Now they're going to go woke as the last desperate attempt. And North Face now, if you complete a course on diversity and inclusion, and I think someone at one of the conservative leaning websites actually took it, and it's all like only whites can be racist. They can't be oppressed. It's just fucking woke shit. You look at the CEO, he's the whitest white guy that ever white guy. And does he actually believe any of this shit? No. But it's a last desperate attempt to get you to go buy North Face again, which I never bought in the first place because you should be shopping at Goodwill, saving your money. Anyway, this is kind of the same thing with these companies are already losing money. And because, all right, is it the company? Is it the venture capital group that owns them or the equity group that owns them? Or is it the individual brand? So let me just read through this. So it's Geo Media, which used to be Gizmodo. Geo Media has no plans to sell in 2024, CEO says. Here he is, whitest guy that ever white guy. Looks like he belongs to a Corvette club. Maybe could have, socks up to his calves, white socks up to his calves. Geo, formerly Gizmodo Media Group, has no plans to sell its whole portfolio this year. CEO Jim Spanfeller told Axios in an interview, despite a rough past year for Geo and media in general. What they're saying, we're not strapped for cash, Spanfeller said when asked whether the firm plans to raise money if it doesn't sell. Yeah, but that's because they have a financier behind them. I think the latest venture capital firm to buy them bought them for pennies on the dollar. But if there was an opportunity to bring in a different financial partner, a way that helps benefits Geo Media parent company, that's possible, he said. The big picture. Geo Media, which was acquired by private equity firm Great Hill Partners in 2019. Yahoo had this happen. Yahoo is not its own company anymore. It's owned by some venture capital group. Was not profitable in 2023. There you go. No one's buying their shit. I'm wondering if Kotaku or any of these websites were ever profitable at one time. But Spanfeller sees the ad marketing improving with more economic certainty in 2024. Details, a report from Adweek last week suggested the company is shopping around some of its individual titles after failing to initially find a buyer for the whole holding group. No one wants your trading card collection. They're shit. Look, hating white males is not really a great business model. I know you think it's diversity and inclusion. We're going to get down with the woke kid. We're going to get down with the minorities and the Hispanics and the girls, yo. Look, hello, fellow children. It's like the whitest white guy ever white guy with his hat on sideways. It got like bling and all that. Hey, fellow black kids, what's up? Down with the white man. Am I right? Dig it, yo. Like the whitest white guy trying to be Shaft. Wow, it doesn't work. So they can't even sell their shit. Who wants to buy money losing product? That's like paying someone to punch you in the nuts. Hey, I'll give you money. You punch me in the nuts. Okay. And write articles about this. Why aren't people buying money losing operations? Spanfeller said the firm will chat with people from time to time about possible acquisitions and sales, but noted that a full portfolio sale isn't expected this year. I don't think that's in the cards. Why don't you try and write and do good journalism? Like it's never, you'll note if you read through all these articles about all these different companies, Gawker, Vice, all this other stuff, it's just them trading cards. No one says maybe we should have a good product. It's all brands that have died, brands that have been proven to be liars and leftists. Yeah, I want to buy that card. And by the way, it doesn't mean conservative media is any better. I mean, from a profit standpoint, it's just give it up. I guess that's kind of the point I'm trying to make it. Look, guys, just give it up. Especially for those of you at Kotaku, the few that remain. Look, stick around until they keep, stick around. You got your dream job. It's not going to last forever. This kind of happened in the dot-com days. Like anytime the economy was doing good, I would get a good job in finance and then it would go away. It told me I was in the wrong field. And I had the intelligence to realize that and get the hell out. Keep sticking around for all you leftist journalists. This is you're not, by the way, it's unless there's super low interest rates and a nonprofit environment, you're not going to get this. This is not going to happen again. It's like Silicon Valley kids, like, oh, I get to be a media associate. Okay, today I'm going to Twitter. I'm going to have some biscotti. I'm going to sit in the hammock. And there's Joey. He's just the funny guy. And that shit is over. The money has ran out, or the money has become too expensive because interest rates are like 5%. Whoa! Just, brush up your resume. I don't know. Recommend you all learn to code. And you can please get in my comment. Here's what's sad is I actually as an individual, I got more pull. I can send my people after you, like in the comment section. Go ahead. Oh my God. I was public enemy number one because I wrote an article, blog post about not wanting to see the Mad Max show. Go ahead. Get your little trolls and your spurgs and your autists in there. Not the real ones. I'm talking those of you who are mentally healthy, and fake it so you can get attention. Go ahead, flood it. Go ahead. I would spend my time getting more resumes out or getting new skills. Like, have you thought about becoming accountants? That pays pretty well. You can work remote. It is actually, it is in your best interest. It would help you. You could work remote. It's not that hard. Just long and boring. Oh no, but then you can lick the vagina of leftism and I'm a journalist. Like, no one, that's another thing is there's no status anymore. Like, none. It's like bankers. You got caught with your pants down too many times and like no one likes you. No one cares. Still, something probably needs to happen soon. Spanfeller added that the use by date for private equity companies tends to be around 6 to 10 years. So we're coming up on that. He said, the union representing the Onion, you're unionized? Good luck. A satirical website with the Onion, a satirical website within Geo's media portfolio, said in a statement of money that Great Hills partner made an estimated $44 million in revenue in 2023. Yeah, it's revenue. Do you union people understand profits, expenses, and revenue? Well, they made that much money. Yeah, but they had electrical bills to pay. Geo Media was born out of the sale of Gawker Media to Univision for $135 million in 2016. Univision sold those assets under the rebranded name Gizmodo Media Group to Great Hill Partners in 2019 for less than $50 million. So that's almost a third of what Univision paid. These aren't making money. This is the last dying. Just seriously, as per the title of it, just put these websites out of their misery. Stop stringing along these union workers or regular workers. Stop stringing along people thinking, what? The Huffington Post didn't even pay its journalists. You got to write for free. Guys, give it up. Go get a real job. Seriously, that's what it boils down to. You've had your fun. You should be thankful that interest rate environments and conditions were that it allowed you. You rode the DEI, ESG, fuck white dudes train. You got that wave. You got to ride it. It's over. It's like the dot-com bubble. It's like the second dot-com bubble. It's like the Bakken oil field bubble. These bubbles come and go. And you'd be better off becoming accountants or bartenders or baristas. There's nothing wrong with it. You actually produce some value in what people want. But your days of you getting to write your leftist spooge is over. And kind of not even making a real living. You're barely getting by. Especially you got to live in downtown where all the action is. All those lifestyle mommy bloggers in New York. Geo Media is now parent to a number of niche consumer websites, including Gizmodo, Kotaku, The Root, and more. It has been trying to streamline its portfolio for months amid a slowed ad market. The company shuttered its female-focused brand, Jezebel. Imagine that, hating men, all men, white, Hispanic, black, gay, hating all men. It wasn't profitable. Laid off 23 editorial staffers. That's another thing, guys. You think of a big website like Jezebel, 23 people. That's it. And it could probably run off as 6. And if you look at all their guarantee, you go look at all their background. These are not respectable people. These are people with worthless degrees. They demand bailouts. They're white collar panhandlers. These are parasites. These are not upstanding people. And their entire, especially Jezebel, their entire ideology is the hatred of another group of people, and that's how they're going to profit off of. Like, it laid off 13 staffers last June and sold its lifestyle website, Lifehacker, to Ziff Davis in March. What did he pay us? A penny? Spanfeller said the company did layoffs because we would rather not be strapped for cash in the near future. Today, and you look at all the back office operation that goes into this. All these private equity groups, all these venture capital, we're going to raise funding and we're going to do an analysis and evaluation. To you financiers, Give it up. Not how much time did we all waste keeping these, frankly, hate-filled sites alive? These Marxist leftist propagandists, you think you're going to make profit in hatred? You're not going to make profit in hatred in any group, any victimhood. It's over. It's done. Why are you wasting trading these shitty trading cards? Just take a capital loss after capital loss after you're going to turn it around? No. Liquidate the fit. Here, I remember when venture capitalists would come in, they'd buy a company. I was trading very low because of bad performance. And then they'd sell the individual assets, like, oh, here's a factory piece of equipment. So here's a fleet of trucks. And the money they'd have left over would pay off all the debts of the firm. And the guy who bought it for pennies on the dollars would end up making, hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, because the individual assets were better sold to other people who were actually going to use them for profitable purposes than whatever the current company was making really shitty buggy whips. I don't know. Today, there are fewer employees at the firm, 215, than when Great Hill Partners acquired it. Spokesperson said, get it, just put it all out of, you don't even have assets to sell. Put it out of your misery. Knock it off. It's over. No one believes it. These websites and companies don't have any reputation. It's over. Put a fork in it. Take the money and go create more long-term functional companies that actually employ people and produce something of value to society. There you go. So let's go to the super chats. See if we still have some. Have ourselves a JJ Sedton. $5. This country is catching speed on its degeneracy. I don't know if we're going to last 10 years. I'd say get ready, guys. I don't know. The sign's not good. I don't care what happens. I have my crypto, I have my silver, I have my guns, and I have my group. Not that group. I'm only a quarter of that group, and I've never been inside a synagogue. Burbshide, 5 Australian. Honeyed infant, sweet baby, needs to be wholly rejected by consumers. Well, I think it is. It's not that honey. Look, even sweet that's not exactly, given the current political mentality of self-loathing Americans and Canadians, because it's a Canadian company. There's nothing wrong having a consulting company come in and say, okay, yeah, that's actually culturally insensitive. You're going to really piss off Hispanic readers or video game play. No, that you kind of want to avoid that. And then you can say, no, we hired Sweet Baby. There was I think an actual legitimate business reason to have Sweet Baby there, but they have such an ideological hatred for other people. And they are so envious and they are so leftist that instead of just, hey, if we do this right, they go exhibit F. What they've done to pretty women in video games. You can't have pretty women. You could tell it's hatred. They hate anything good. They hate anything beautiful. They hate anything excellence. And they absolutely don't want, I mean, what was it? Whoever is in charge of the new Lara Croft video game, her boobs were shrank. Tifa from Final Fantasy, which even goes back to my day, they shrank her boobs. Fable has that horrifically ugly woman. This has gone well beyond a sensible, you know what, maybe we ought to have some minority people come in here and advise us on this to make sure we're putting out a good product everyone's going to like. No, it's ideological. It's hatred. They want to ruin beautiful things. That's it. These are petty, small, thieving people who cannot stand when there are better people out there putting out a better product. And it's very telling that the men still have to be jacked and ripped, but the women must be ugly, which indicates to me there's a female component to this, but that's maybe a topic of a different matter. Now, so I don't think consulting firms like that necessarily had to be hate-filled, and they don't even have to be rejected. But when the product is shit and political, the whole product, which none of these developers had to say, yes, baby Jesus or sweet baby Jesus. None of them had to. They didn't have to say that. They say, okay, thanks for the advice. No, we got consulting from. We're going to implement this, but we're not going to implement that. Put the huge old titties on that girl again. And then maybe we'd have a product that worked. But I don't care. At the end of the day, the real journalists are going to go and play. They're going to be like Jesus Christ. They're going to watch the movie so you don't have to. So they'll make a $10 ticket off of Critical Drinker, but he's going to warn millions not to see it. And these people could keep losing money time and time again. I don't care. This is the natural economy, just weeding out the inferior products, the inferior workers, the inferior shit. And then people will be waiting. Are you going to put the big tits on this girl again? Are you going to give us guns and ammo? And another thing, this has nothing to do with politics or anything like that. You're going to stop fucking us with downloadable content? Look, now the internet goes out, of course. I'll get through these quickly. X-Runner, $5. I think the companies that were already broke went woke to get the money, and the cheap Marxist labor activists will be activists for pennies. Yep, good point. Keon, $2. Our DEI department's growing and here to stay. They are here to stay because that's the money-making grift of various different groups. And it's also the current marketing strategy of most corporations because marketing people are stupid. They don't know anything like good quality product at a lower price. Nope. It's like, oh my God, it's got black penis on it. Here, have some. And all the dudes are black. They're like, it's a shit product. But black male, black penis. We're big tits. Ah! William Mendel's $2. I'm 5'7". Is that super short and give up on dating? It's not super short, but I never say give up on dating. Go read Unplugged Alpha and go read the Book of Numbers. You ask out girls who are shorter, but seriously, do not put that much time in asking girls out. It's not. If the right girl comes, the eye doc I had, she was like 4'11". I'm like, holy shit, she was good looking. I'm like, hi. Ask out shorter girls. I wouldn't give up on it. Don't put too much time in it. Ken Rose, $5 gives up. Thank you. All right, that's it. I don't know what's linked below. Oh, link below. Link to my Subscribe Star channel. I don't talk about that a lot. There's a Subscribe Star membership you can join. You get access to the Road Trip podcast and pin up pictures of Mary Jo and some other girls that were kind enough to send some pinups. If you happen to be a girl you want to send some pinups, tasteful, PG-13, more than happy to pay for that because it makes me money on that end too. Those were just charitably given. Girls like, oh yeah, here you go. I'm like, oh, thanks. I remember when girls were nice. Wasn't that nice? Oh, look at those girls cheerleading us boys on. They're swell gals. Links to my books, links to my courses, and hang on, I got it right here. Books, courses, subscribe to Amazon affiliate. You want to do all your Amazon shopping there. That's it. See you guys. Oh, one more. Chuck the Painter, €5. Off topic. Have you seen that old Aston Martin ad? You know you're not the first, but do you really care? No, I haven't seen it. I like the one, it's Jaguar. It's all the British villains. That one was good. That was good. But that took talent. All right, see you guys later. Toodles.